perceives all things conjoined. The past, the future, and the present. Everything flows, and all is connected. This eye is not merely seeing reality, it is touching the truth. There is nothing to fear. This blue eye perceives all things conjoined. The past, the future, and the present. Everything flows, and all is connected. This eye is not merely seeing reality, it is touching the truth. There is nothing to fear.
About to get started. Just finishing up my sunflower seeds. All right, folks. Welcome to another episode of Pants Undone. Pretty undone today. There's a lot of foolishness going on in the world. So let's pull up some stuff here. All right. All right, folks. So first thing on the agenda. First thing on the agenda today, somebody posted this today. A Bernard by the Burn. Bernard by the Burn, I guess, is the original poster of this particular meme. This is London in 1993 after an IRA truck bomb. IRA truck bomb. We didn't ban Irish people or Catholics. We understood it was just a small group of... I don't even know what that is. Like, what is that? Can anybody help me out there? Like, what the heck is that? You know? What is that? Anyways, I was in London at the height of the IRA bombing campaign in the 1990s. 3 times in my life I've been in locations. Twice in London, once in Bristol, where had I been an hour earlier or later, would not be here now. Well, you don't know that. You don't really know that. In 1991, I heard the IRA attack on number 10 from my desk in St. James and walked down across Hyde Park to see what all the fuss was about. Did I resent Irish people? Did we ban Irishmen and women from our shores? Did we imagine all Catholics were terrorists? No, of course we didn't. That would have been stupid. This guy has the gall. Can we talk about what the English folk did to the Irishmen over the course of heck, not even 20 years prior to this? Yeah, let's talk about that. No, let's not talk about that. So, yeah. Who thinks it's the same thing? I mean, it's fine if you do. I don't care. I really don't. But let's put things in perspective here. All right. So the Bishopgate bombing, 1993, occurred on Saturday, 24 April 1993. When the Provisional Irish Republic Army, the IRA, detonated a powerful truck bomb on Bishopgate, a major thoroughfare in London's financial district, the City of London. This is what's key here, folks. This is what's key. Telephoned warnings were sent out about an hour beforehand. But a news photographer was killed in the blast, and 44 people were injured. Now, I don't know for a fact, but I'm willing to bet that the news photographer probably went there to get a picture of the possible bomb. But this is what's key. Telephoned warnings were sent. Has any of the ISIS sympathizer terrorist attackers, have they forewarned people about their attacks in recent history? All the attacks that's been going on in the last few years in Europe? No, don't think so. As a result of the bombing, which happened just over a year after the bombing of a nearby Baltic exchange, a ring of steel was implemented to protect the city, and many firms introduced disaster recovery plans in case of further attacks or similar disasters. A ring of steel. I bet you. What is that? We can click on that. Let's click on that. The Traffic and Environmental Zone, commonly known as the Ring of Steel, is the security and surveillance cordon consisting of road barriers, checkpoints, and several hundred CCTV cameras surrounding the City of London, the financial district at the heart of Greater London. The measures have been used since the 1990s to deter terrorism and other threats. The Ring of Steel. So it's not like the British just sat idly by after the IRA bombings and did nothing and just said, oh well, maybe we should talk to them. It's not like they just sat idly by. So, let's see if there's anything else of importance there. No, let's go back to this background. Since the beginning of its campaign, early 1970s, IRA, the bombing. Okay, let's get rid of that ad, huh? They're not paying me. At about 9 a.m. on 24 April, 2 volunteers from an IRA active service unit drove the truck containing the bomb onto Bishop Gate. They parked the truck outside 99 Bishop Gate, which was then the Hong Kong and Shanghai Bank, located by the junction with Windward Street. Mail-in left the area in a car driven by an accomplice. A series of telephone warnings were then sent from a phone box in Fork Hill County, Northern Ireland, with the caller using a recognized IRA code word and stating, "There's a massive bomb, clear and wide area." The first warnings were sent out about 1 hour before the bomb detonated. 2 police officers were already making inquiries into the truck when the warnings were received, and police began evacuating the area. The bomb exploded at 10:27 a.m., causing extensive damage to the buildings, aligning blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So, in a nutshell, folks, not the same thing. Not the same thing. Let me know if you feel differently, but not the same thing. Not the same thing. See, the IRA was, and I'm not condoning the IRA, man. They're a bunch of dirtbags, but they had legitimate complaints, legitimate grievances. More than just we want to take over the world. ISIS wants to establish the caliphate again, which means the subjugation of the infidel. You see, the IRA didn't want that. They just wanted to be left alone. They wanted their independence. They wanted the independence and freedom of Ireland, which Great Britain was, or I should say, England was literally thwarting that. Now here's also an amazing thing of difference. We have peace now between the IRA and Ireland and England and whatnot. There's peace now. I mean, it's not all roses and rainbows, but those types of acts are not going on anymore on a frequent basis like they were. I'm sure you have some small groups in there, but see, to also pretend that radical Islam is a fringe thing is to be naive. It's to really be naive. My take on Islam is that you look in the Quran. I have they're not in this room. They're in another room on a bookshelf. I have 6 copies of the Quran that I've read, that I've studied, that I've combed through, and what have you. And this is my statement. The peaceful Muslim is not a good Muslim. I'll repeat that. The peaceful Muslim is not a good Muslim. That is because the Quran teaches them to kill the infidel. The Quran, you see, the terrorist, right? The radical Muslims, they're the ones who are actually following the Quran faithfully and truthfully and accurately. And see, that's the difference between somebody like the IRA and any, like, say, some Christian guy decides to go and blow up an abortion clinic, which kind of ties into one of our other subjects today. Even though this is Freestyle Friday, I did kind of prepare for a couple things. But Christianity, the Bible, does not teach you to kill people if they don't convert. It does not teach you to kill people if they don't agree with you. It does not teach you to go in and just arbitrarily and generally go and conquer the world. The Quran does. You see, in order for a Christian to engage in what we might call terrorist attacks, they have to distort the Bible. They have to distort the Bible in order to justify what they do. However, a Muslim terrorist does not have to distort the Quran to justify what they do. Do you see the key difference there? So, it's not the same thing. And there is no talking with Islam. There's no talking with Islam and the people who are pushing forward, whatnot. And I'm not going to bore you with all the numbers, I guess, but you can look it up. A good majority of Muslims, the peaceful, moderate Muslims, they agree with suicide bombings. They agree that they're justified in many cases. They agree with having Sharia law implemented in the United States. So, it's probably the case that most Muslims are okay in a lot of ways with what goes on, but are just not going to be willing participants. And do you know the Quran actually says that they're supposed to kill the ones who are not willing to engage in jihad. They're called the apostates. The infidel sympathizers. So, not the same thing. We're not going to peacefully negotiate with radical Islam. We're not going to peacefully negotiate with them. It's either all or nothing with them, And here's another thing. The IRA did not call for the eradication of all Englishmen. Now, there may have been some members. See, I got to silence my phone. There may be members of the IRA that maybe kind of hold to that. But as a matter of policy, the IRA did not call for the eradication of all non-Irishmen. But Islam calls for the eradication of the Jews in Israel. So, comparing the IRA bombings to what's going on now, not the same thing. Not the same thing at all. And see, here's another big difference. When Irish folk move somewhere, and like particularly England, they're not trying to force their culture upon their host guest or their host country. You see, when most people, for instance, in the history of America, most immigrants, by and large, they came here and wanted to become American. They wanted what America had to offer. They were sick and tired of what was going on in their home countries, or they were just destitute, poor, and because of circumstances, they're not able to rise, and they saw an opportunity in America, and they came. And they did things like they forbade their kids to speak their native languages. Okay? During the Cold War, many Russians came here as under political asylum, and they would, I knew one family I met in around 2002, 2003, possibly. Russian family. He was actually, a buddy of mine in the Air Force started dating this girl, and she was Russian, and her family had immigrated here as under political asylum years prior, and I got to know their family through my buddy. And they're married now. And they forbade their daughter to speak Russian. Because they were like, Russia sucks. We basically hate everything about it. We love the land. We love, everything our daughter needed to learn English because we wanted to become American. And we wanted to adopt the values of America and the culture of America. And we wanted to be Americans. And by and large, all throughout the history of Europe, that's what it's been too. People who would immigrate there would they would go to England. They wanted to become English people. They wanted to become, what did England have to offer? But that's not what's going on with the Muslim refugees and the immigrants right now. They want to come, they're going into Europe and they're like forcing everybody else to curtail to them. Forcing them to recognize their culture and even go so far as to, outlaw any kind of like for instance, this whole podcast right now I'd get me arrested in some European places. Is that what we want in America? Canada's falling right in line. Canada's passing anti-Islamophobia laws. I probably couldn't do this podcast because of the content so far in Canada. So, not the same thing. The IRA thing, what's going on now, not the same thing. And if you want to try and make that comparison and say that's a legit comparison, you are being intellectually dishonest. Point blank period. If you want to make that kind of comparison. So that's that. I'm done with that. That's as my friend Kelly would say, that's my pant rant on the issue. I'm done with it. So, what's our next story? This is ridiculous right here. This is ridiculous. So I kind of perused through this story here, but I didn't really delve into it much. But so what do we got here? Portland burrito spot shutters amid claims of cultural appropriation. What the heck is that? I know everybody's already talked about this. I'm kind of behind on the times here, but you know what? I'm not a professional podcaster with a team of people doing research and stuff for me. I do this myself. So, just shortly after W Week announced Cook's Burritos, a small burrito pop-up with events at the Tight Tacos food cart in Southeast, the operation has shuttered and deleted much of its online presence. The closure coincides with public outrage at what some are calling the restaurant's appropriation of another's culture's intellectual property. Speaking with W Week, Cook's Burritos owners Callie Wilgus and Liz L.C. Connolly said they developed their menus in part by picking the brains of every tortilla lady there. Puerto Nuevo, Mexico. In the worst broken Spanish ever. And this description of its research practices, as well as other comments within the article, spurred editorials and debates across the internet. The Mike News website bought the national attention. It says bought. See, friggin' and they're allowed to write. The Mike News website brought, not bought, unless they did buy it. I don't know. Maybe they did buy it. Bought national attention to Cook's Burritos with its coverage titled, "These White Cooks Bragged About Stealing Recipes from Mexico to Start a Portland Business." It reads, "The problem, of course, is that it's unclear whether the Mexican woman who handed over their recipes ever got anything in return." Today, the Merc released its coverage beginning with the claim Portland has an appropriation problem. The article continues. Week after week, people of color in Portland bear witness to the hijacking of their cultures. Several of the most successful businesses in this town have been birthed as a result of curious white people going to a foreign country. Now, don't get me wrong, cultural customs are meant to be shared. However, that's not what happens in this city. Ooh. And a spreadsheet featuring white-owned appropriative restaurants in Portland has also emerged. It includes several of the most popular restaurants in the city, with recommendations for nearby alternatives owned by people of color. I'm going to say colored people. In recent years, the topic of cultural appropriation in food has been widely discussed in America, and the latest development shows some Portland restaurateurs and local residents continue to be at odds. The Cook's Burritos coverage by W Week now has nearly 500 comments, and there are a few signs of consensus will be reached. Wow. And it looks good. That makes me hungry. Makes me hungry. So, it's now wrong to, I don't know. What the hell is happening? Can I not listen to hip hop anymore? Are we going to go after the Beastie Boys? Are we going to strip them of all their Grammys and what have you? Oh my God. What is happening? So, yeah. That's a thing. Anyways, I want to show you something a little lighthearted, you guys. This is from Louder with Crowder. And it's pretty funny. He does some awesome skits. So it's pretty funny. So check it out.
How the hell is Louder with Crowder continuing to grow when we just distinctly throttled and demonetized their channel? Are they reaching their viewers somewhere else? Are they doing a Patreon? And where the hell is Tranny Bane?
I don't know where he is. I told him it was urgent.
Oh, you don't seem to know much vetting, do you? Where is that he, she?
Speak of the devil, and thee shall appear.
What the hell is going on?
Your plan is going as expected.
Z shall appear.
Oh, really? Does YouTube look advertiser friendly right now? Your plan of partnering with Sierra TV, it didn't work, my friend. Now your Mug Club members are supporting Louder with Crowder off-site, but still running around YouTube comment section, raising awareness and disrupting our safe spaces. Tell me, how exactly does that help us? YouTube, get rid of dissenting opinions.
Leave us.
No, stay. I'm in charge.
Do you feel in charge?
I'll let you monetize a small fortune.
And this gives you power over me.
What is this?
Your YouTube and infrastructure have been important till now.
Who are you?
My club is YouTube's reckoning. Viewer-supported content not only allow us to reach them directly off-site, but simultaneously disrupt the bubble we've all been living in. It is my club outside of YouTube that allows the free content to operate within YouTube.
You are pure evil.
My club is necessary evil.
join Tranny Bane's mug club. Where's that Tranny Bane at anyways? Z has arrived. That is awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, you guys should check out Steve Crowder. He's awesome. He's funny. So, and no comments, nothing to go on. So we're gonna jump into this next little deal here. Well, hold on. Let's do this. So, if anybody doesn't know, I am anti-abortion. Because I'm anti-murder. It's as simple as that. I don't care what you feel like. Abortion's murder. Plain and simple. Point blank period. Am I going to go stand outside of an abortion clinic and yell murder at the women? No. That's not very conducive. I'm not going to tell a woman who's got an abortion that she's a murderer. It's the doctor. Whoever performed the abortion is the murderer. You just hired the hitman. You know. Yeah. So that's how I feel about it. If you want to discuss it, maybe you should have tuned in, and we could have discussed it. But and if you want to talk about it, give me a call. Give me a call. pants.undone@gmail.com. That's horrible. I should never do that. I should never sing. What's wrong with me? But what I'm getting at here is I believe in the preamble of the Declaration of Independence, United States of America, that we are given inalienable rights by our Creator. And those inalienable rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And when abortion is performed, we are robbing a child of their right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so, even Hillary Clinton has even stated, though, that an unborn child does not deserve to have their rights protected. Now, my question is, folks, what did we get? No, I should say we didn't get it from this, but it was allowed to continue for decades more. When we allowed society at large, and aka the government, to decide who is human and who is not human, and thus deserving of their rights being protected, what was allowed, why the last time the government took that stance and went along, they were trying to protect something. And what was that thing? Anybody know? What was the thing that the government was trying to keep in place by declaring certain people not human and thus not deserving of their rights being protected? Anybody? Slavery. Was the last time that we allowed the government to decide who is and who is not human, and who deserves their rights to be protected and who does not. We didn't get slavery because of that, but slavery was allowed to continue because of that. It was the only reason why the government took that route is because the institution of slavery was being attacked by mostly the public at large. Little quiddo facts for you. Only 4% of white people in the southern states, only 4% own slaves. Only 4%. And they were mostly all the rich folk. And yeah, and then over a couple 100,000 white men spilt their blood to end it. If it wasn't for government intervening and basically keeping slavery established, because that's what it required, slavery would have went away eventually. Maybe it would have taken longer. Maybe it wouldn't have taken longer. We just don't know. We just don't know, because that's not the thing. That's not what happened. But slavery, you'll hear also the claim. I'm getting on a tangent here. It's supposed to be about abortion. But just real quick, slavery, a lot of people will claim that this country was built on the backs of slaves and blah, 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 and all that jazz. And maybe that's somewhat true. But what's also true is that slavery held this country back from progressing, not just intellectually and not just philosophically and not just morally, but economically as well. Because when you can rely on relatively free, because slave labor was not free, it did cost the slave owners a price. Not only did they have to buy the slave, they had to house them and clothe them and feed them. And unlike what Hollywood would like to have us believe now, most slaves were treated very well. They were fed well. A lot of times they were educated, because many of the slave owners realized real fast that that they got better production out of their slaves if they educated them. Then they didn't have to watch over them all the time and hold their hand and coddle them and, well, this is how you do this and this is how you do. They didn't have to do all that. They educated them. They had schools on the plantations. They had churches and what have you. They educated them. And when they became an age of viability in the field, and then therefore they could know how to add and subtract, know how to read. Yes, it was illegal to teach slaves to read. Again, that's government. So, anyways, get back on point here. Joss Whedon, however you want to pronounce it. I want to say Gross Whedon now. I've been kind of a fan of his ever since Firefly. I didn't like some of the other crap he did. What was it? Buffy? Whatever. That's garbage. But Joss Whedon just did a video recently, a little production of for Planned Parenthood, because they need protection, because they're so destitute, they're so Planned Parenthood don't know me, because in light of all the videos, the undercover videos have been coming out about Planned Parenthood and basically the crap that goes on there. I guess he felt the need to produce a video that basically lies, but with high production quality and whatnot. He might have some CGI in there as well. So anyways, let's watch this video. So a couple pauses that are going to come up and what have you. When those pauses happen, and I'll stop and discuss some things. I think there's only one pause, actually. Can anybody help me out there? What's going on there? What's actually going on there? I mean, okay, so there's something wrong with her. Okay, she's in bed. I guess she's dying. Alright, so she's got something wrong with her. Wait a minute. Is it breast cancer? Oh, is that what it is? Breast cancer? Well, Planned Parenthood doesn't offer mammograms. They do referrals at best. But they spend no money on providing mammograms. We can pull up the video of the lady who runs Planned Parenthood actually stating that in front of Congress. Google it. And then we got this chick here in front of this dude holding up a pill bottle. And then there's a chick in the background there. Let's see here. See that chick there? I've never used this whiteboard thing. Anyway, how do I erase it? Okay, let's do white, huh? Because I don't want to cultural appropriate anybody. I'm white, so you got this chick back there. She's looking. She comes into play at some point in this video. So okay. So all right, I don't know what happened there. But what did we see here? What's this all about? Back it up a little. Okay. Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Children are... They're cumbersome. They're going to keep you from doing what you want to do. So kill them. Remember that. Remember that, ladies. Why not we just extend that to like until they're 18? Like my two kids, right? I love them to death, but daggone, man, they eat so much. They're like such a huge financial burden. They prevent me and my wife from doing all kinds of stuff. Why can't I just snuff them out right now? What would be wrong with that? You know? What would be wrong with that? Let's see here. You know? Why can't I just snuff them out? You know? I don't know. Anyways, let's continue this. Man, it's huge inconvenience these kids are, man. Let's jam a tube in the back of their head and suck their brains out. Yeah, I'm not gonna act like that per se. If it were my daughter, I'd be very disappointed. There's no doubt. But, you know. Hold on, I gotta readjust the chair here. And I know this is not, like, something that people want to talk about. I know this is an emotional thing for a lot of folk, especially women. But I won't back down. Murder's murder. Uh-oh, Planned Parenthood's closed. I wonder why. Is it because basically we want to cut the $100 million that the federal government gives to Planned Parenthood? See, this folks is liberal thinking at best. They engage in what I call nihilist thinking a lot. And what I mean by that is, like, if the federal government doesn't do it, who will? Who will, right? Now, other than the abortions, like with this one girl that is portrayed, I mean, I don't know. Other than her, the other things are like you get anywhere else. Like, hold on, let's continue the video here, and we'll talk about it. It's like, oh crap, it's closed. Uh-oh, what happened? The music has... Oh! Jesus has returned! It's open! I guess Trump didn't get his way after all! Yay! Okay. So anybody wanna venture into letting me know what the cost of birth control pills are? I don't know. I mean, from what I can gather, let's do a little Googling. Google.com average cost of... It's probably going to give us... Nope. If I type B... Nope. BI... But, yep, birth control pills. There we go. Average cost of birth control pills. Let's see. Let's see, folks. Where can I buy birth control pills? How much do they cost? The real cost of birth control. Okay, I don't know about this site. This is, conservative news. Can't use that. Can't use conservative news. Let's just go to Planned Parenthood. Birth control pill. How safe is it? How do I use it? How do I get it? How much do birth control pills cost? Prices vary depending on whether you have health insurance or if you qualify for Medicaid or other government programs that cover birth control pills. What? So what you're telling me is that if there's no Planned Parenthood, well then Medicaid or other government programs cover birth control pills for most brands? One pack lasts 1 month and can cost from $0 to $50. They're totally free. They are totally free with most health insurance plans. Now, I don't know about you, but everybody shown in that video seems like they probably have health insurance plans. Maybe I'm just assuming. You may also need to pay for a visit with a doctor or nurse to get a prescription for the pill. The visit can cost anywhere from $35 to $250, but under the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, most insurance plans must cover doctor's visits related to birth control. That's not true. All insurance plans must cover doctor's visits related to birth control, including mine. Including as a 38-year-old male, my insurance plan actually covers doctor's visits for birth control. Now, I guess there is some things, there's vasectomies or whatever I can get my tubes tied or whatever happens to dudes. I don't know. If you're worried about costs, check with your local Planned Parenthood health center to find out if they can hook you up with birth control that fits your budget. Hook you up? Is that like What is this? MTV Cribs? Oh my Lord. If you're worried about the cost, to find out, check with your local Planned Parenthood health center to find out if they can hook you up, dog, with birth control that fits your budget. I'm surprised they didn't put your budget in there. How can I get birth control pills for free? Because of the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, most insurance plans must cover birth control pills with little or no cost to you. No. All insurance plans must cover birth control pills. Even mine covers birth control pills. It's right in my daggone insurance documents. So, anyways, the point is $0 to $50. $0 to $50. Oh my Lord, that is so expensive. And by God, if it wasn't for Planned Parenthood, where would we get our birth control pills from? The sky is falling. The sky is falling. Well, let's get back to Joss Whedon there. And his diatribe. Oh, she got her birth control, guys. Everything's all good. Lie. See, I don't even know what this actually is. See, we're not given any kind of context. There's no subtitles. There's nothing to tell us what the hell's going on. But, yeah. I'm assuming that there's something about breast cancer. Planned Parenthood does not do mammograms. Okay, folks? So shut up about it. At best, they refer you to a doctor or a place that does do mammograms. So if Planned Parenthood goes away, guess what? You're still going to be able to get your freaking mammograms. Oh, I'm so mad. I think I just spittled a little. I think. Oh, I guess they're not going to have sex now. Who is this chick? She's the chick that's just she's the busybody. She's the one that's in everybody's business and trying to tell them what to do. That's who she is. She thinks she's Miss Smarty Pants, knows it all, and everything else. Kind of like I used to be. But I grew up. Maybe one day she'll grow up. Who knows? And she got to go to college. I guess so, right? Look at that. Oh, life would just be so much better if we could just jab tubes in the back of our babies' heads and suck their brains out. Or reach in and chop them up to bits. Look what life could be like for you ladies if you just chopped up your child and sucked it out in body parts. Yeah, life is grand. Life is grand. Oh, I guess she got to go have her next birthday because Planned Parenthood existed and was able to not give her a mammogram. Oh, no, uh-oh. What happened? Oh, that's a Planned Parenthood place. That's not what they look like inside the ones I've been to. What world do you want? I want a world where we don't murder children, innocent children. That's the world I want, Joss Whedon. And guess what? I'm not going to none of your movies anymore. You sack of crap, pathetic human being that you are. Not going to none of your movies anymore. You are not going to get another dime from me, Joss Whedon. Not another dime. I'm not paying for pay-per-view Marvel movies anymore. I don't even know if you got anything to do with them. I ain't doing it. And I think he's on DC now. I could be wrong. But whatever movie he has to do with DC, I ain't paying for it. And that sucks because I'm a bigger DC fan than I am a Marvel fan. But screw you, Joss Whedon. You sack of crap. You're a pathetic human being, is what you are. Advocating the murder of children. Sorry, SOB. I'm passionate about this subject, folks, and I know this is not something that most of you want to discuss. You don't got to discuss it. You can keep your mouth shut as far as I'm concerned. It's murder. So, I'm on the side of life. And before you bring up the death penalty, God, that's the stupidest argument. It's so stupid.
But you're against abortion, but you're okay with the death penalty?
Yeah, because, I don't know, there's a difference between an innocent little child in the womb versus, and it's 2 o'clock. I've been doing this for an hour, I thought it was longer. So, it's a little different than the guy who raped and slashed the throat of a woman. Yeah, I think he should be put to death. Right? But I don't think the throat of a child should be slit so you can suck its brains out because he's an inconvenience. Because he kind of puts a little kink in your plans. No, I don't agree with that. Sorry. But yeah, I'm okay with the death penalty. As long as it's used properly. With jurisprudence. You know? But you can keep your... You can keep all the rest of the stuff. It's not the same thing. That's what liberals do. They make all these false comparisons. You know, one thing equals another. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It absolutely does not. So, anyways, on to our next little thing, which kind of ties into that. Because that whole video was done in the context of Trump, I guess, and Republicans wanting to basically defund Planned Parenthood. No, Planned Parenthood's going to be just fine. Planned Parenthood's going to be just fine without their $100 million from the federal government. But anyways, on to our next video. Mrs. Elizabeth Warren, senator, congressman, whatever she is. I don't give a crap. A moron. So, let's see what she has to say here.
So, the Trump budget comes out tomorrow, but...
The Trump budget comes out tomorrow.
The word is already leaking out from the Washington Post.
And I guess that's the only way she found out about it.
About what's in it. You're not going to believe it. So, I just want to talk for a minute about...
I'm not going to believe it.
Here. Trump and...
Details. She's going to, throughout this whole video, she's going to really lack in giving you details. Details like, okay, how much is the total budget, Miss Warren, for education? And how much are they cutting? Details. That's important. It's important to know what we're spending on the federal budget in education and what we're cutting. That's important. It's very important.
DeVos. Remember Betsy DeVos, the person the Republicans confirmed to be Secretary of Education?
Democrats had to help confirm her as well.
The big complaint was that this is a woman who does not believe in public education. Well,
I don't believe in public education either. It's failed us. It's done nothing. It's done nothing good. And guess what, folks? My mom, and most likely your mother, and most likely anybody who's watching's mother, right? Or father, aunts and uncles, what have you, they were educated without a federal Department of Education. And I don't know, if you go back and you look at the standards of education prior to the Department of Education existing, I think we were doing a lot better. Yep. But hey, let's continue throwing more and more money at something like that's going to make everything good.
she just proved it. And that is the Trump-DeVos budget cuts $11 billion from
$11 billion.
public education. They want to take away 22 programs
Ooh.
that help kids K through 12.
See, she's operating off this false assumption. All of these programs help children. Do they? Do they? Like, magically, all of a sudden, all these programs just help kids? Like, really? Really? Like, none of them maybe have some questionable results? Maybe none of them? They're all just perfectly doing just fine?
They want to take away after-school programs. Gone. Teacher training. Gone. Class size reduction. Gone.
Okay, folks. There used to be a time when the class size of students per teacher was around in the 20s, maybe even high as 30 in some places per teacher. Okay? And the private sector, private schools had a much lower ratio of like 15 students per teacher. And back in the day, the pro Department of Education advocates, mainly the teachers unions, the advocates behind spending more money on federal on education through the federal government, they have, and even state governments, within the state governments even, they have, like, for years they railed and railed and railed about how it's the ratio that the teachers don't have time to teach 30 kids at once, blah, blah, blah. Well, now the ratio is down to what the private sector used to be, and the private sector's a little lower, and the public sector's not doing any better. So, I mean, what do we want? One teacher per student? Would that be sufficient for you liberals? What's the magic ratio? What the hell's the magic ratio? Tell us what the magic number is, and then maybe we can work towards that goal. Maybe. But it's never enough. The student teacher ratio is now pretty much where private schools used to be, right? Yet the public schools are still not operating or churning out results comparable to what the private schools when they had the same ratio. So what the hell's the magic number? Okay? What the hell's the magic number ratio? You give us that, then maybe we got a goal to work towards. If it's 15-1, great. If that's the magic number that where
School arts programs.
Whoop-de-doo.
Gone. Physical education programs. Gone. Foreign language programs, gone. Education technology, mental health services, anti-bullying initiative.
Anti-bullying initiatives have been a failure. Yeah, so let's stop spending money on it.
AP courses.
Okay, so I got an automatic pause there in the video. I've been doing my own little pauses here and there. A little hint, little thing. She's lying to you, folks. She's bold-faced lying. Just because the federal government doesn't pay for the program doesn't mean the program necessarily goes away. See, this is again the nihilist thinking. It's then up to the states. If the states want to continue to provide those programs in their school systems, then the states can pick up the tab. Now, hopefully, what Trump will do is also do the other side of the policy, and that is reduce taxes. Reduce tax rates, I should say. Reduce tax rates. Allow the folk to keep more of their money so that maybe the state can go, okay, and then we'll increase our taxes a little bit. If the federal government decreases the tax rates, then maybe we'll increase the tax rates. But see, that's the wrong way to go anyways, because little economics lesson for you folks. Lower tax rates garners you more money. You get it? Lower tax rates garners the federal government more money. Lower tax rates on the rich gets more money out of the rich people, or from the rich people, I should say. So if your goal is to get more money from rich folk, make them pay their fair share, whatever the hell that means. If your goal is to get rich people to pay more money, as in more dollar amounts, then you want to lower their rates, not raise them. And I'm going to do a whole nother podcast on that, and I'll lay it all out for you. Okay? I'll lay it all out for you. But that's just a quick thing. So the thing is, folks, these programs aren't necessarily going away because the federal government decides not to spend money on them. It maybe put some of those programs in kind of a question, okay, what's going to happen now? But it doesn't mean they're going away. This is nihilist thinking. Nihilist thinking.
STEM education, and even the Special Olympics.
Is she about to cry? Even the Special Olympics. Shut up.
It's an unbelievable statement of where.
You see, details, right? Details. She said she was going to give us the details. Did she give us any details on that? Is the Special Olympics really going away because of this budget cut? Is it really going away? Because in order to really know that and to really express that idea, what she would need to do, what you need to do, Mrs. Elizabeth Warren, as some people call her Pocahontas, Mrs. Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren, and if you don't know about that, you can look into it. So what you need to do, Mrs. Warren, Miss Warren, whatever you are, okay, is you need to give us, okay, so how much money does the Special Olympics have to operate year to year? And how much comes from where? And how much of that money comes from the federal government? You see, she's not giving you details. She's counting on you being dumb. And all my friends who posted this video, you fell right into it. You fell right into it. She counted on you being dumb, not looking into it, not researching, and just regurgitating information you haven't looked up.
Trump and DeVos want to take this country. Oh, and there's more. There's
the direction they want to take this country. Yes. They don't want to take it to financial insolvency, apparently. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know. Because when it comes down to it, conservatives like to spend money just as much as the liberals, just on different things. When it comes down to it. Okay.
more. The Trump-DeVos budget would totally eliminate public service loan forgiveness.
Good. 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 Why should I be taxed to pay for some guy's college education who decided to go into some public service? Why should I be taxed for that? How about you let me keep more of my money so I can send my own damn kids to school? How about that, Miss Elizabeth Warren? How about that? You sorry sack of crap.
That's it. Gone. Nothing. They want to slice work-study in half, steal $4 billion from the Pell Grant program. And here...
Did she just use the word steal? Did she just use the word steal? Do you not know taxing us is stealing, Miss Warren? You're stealing my money to pay for what you think is good, for what you think is a good program. And you don't have to pay the consequences when the program's a failure. We see that time and time again. I'm going to have another podcast on the housing boom and bust. And I'm going to give you the reasons why the housing boom and bust happened. Dr. Thomas Sowell has already talked about it extensively. I'm pretty much just going to regurgitate and reiterate what he has put forth and expound upon it. But it's because of people like Elizabeth Warren why we had the housing bust or bubble and bust. It's because they pushed for policies to get people to buy houses that couldn't afford houses. And then when those people couldn't afford the houses anymore, they stopped paying on their houses and boom, we had the housing bust. Right? Did she have to pay her and was it Barney Frank? Or Barney, whatever his name is, that one senator, one congressman, the gay dude from Massachusetts? It was his baby. He was the biggest pusher. You know, they push for these bad policies, and when they don't pan out, when they have negative results, do they pay the consequences, as in losing their job? No. They then get to sit there like Barney Frank did after the housing bust happened. He actually convinced all you guys that it was a failure of the market. The free market failed, and all those greedy rich bankers, they were the cause. And he actually convinced you guys that was it. No. He was told 3 years prior to the bubble even starting. He was told 3 years prior by several economists, by George W. Bush himself, that, hey, this kind of policy needs to slow down. You need to stop pushing for this. And then what did Barney Frank go out and do? They hate the poor. They hate the poor. They don't want them to own houses. No. They don't want a financial crisis. Barney Frank was warned about the financial crisis. And then when he was asked about, well, you were warned about it 3 years prior to the bubble, he denied even being warned, and somebody literally played him the video clips of him being warned and him ignoring those warnings. So, I don't even remember what she was talking about now, but she's a moron.
Here's the one that just is especially awful.
Especially awful.
They want to roll back the student loan subsidies for low-income college students. So what's the plan?
Yes, because subsidies make college more expensive. Subsidies on anything make it more expensive. Makes the cost go up. How about, Miss Elizabeth Warren, you stop taxing us so damn much so we can keep our money and send our kids to college? How about we get rid of Social Security and let me invest that money into my own retirement plan, which will gain me more interest, which will gain me more retirement funds when I finally do retire. And then maybe I can use that retirement plan to put my own damn kids through college. And maybe we should do that for everybody. I don't know. What do I know?
Of DeVos and Trump, it's to make student loans more expensive for the students who have the most trouble paying them.
No, and she doesn't understand simple economics. She's an economic illiterate, just like President Obama was, just like President Trump is. She's an economic illiterate. Point blank period. Economic illiterate. And it pisses me off. Do you know it only took me one semester of economics to really get this stuff? You know, and if she has a college education and took economics, it's like she just ignored it. Maybe, you know, because she did lie on her college applications in order to get to fraudulently get student aid and scholarships. She fraudulently lied on all that stuff in order to get into college herself. She culturally appropriated. But hey, she's a liberal woman. It's okay for her to do that. Let a white dude do that? Oh my God, the gates of hell would open. So, subsidies make things more expensive, people. They cause demand to skyrocket. Because when you subsidize something, then you make it the more appealing thing to use or do, and therefore demand skyrockets. And then when you have a limited ability to provide for that demand, a limited supply, the only thing left to do is to raise cost. And then when you have a third party paying for any service, for instance, if I were to come, if I'm me, and you were to offer me a back massage, and you charged X amount of money per minute, per 10 minutes, whatever it may be. But then the government steps in and says, you know what? We're going to subsidize that. We're going to subsidize that. Now, massage therapists, or whoever else provides massages, now they have a certain amount of customers that would come to them. They have a price, right? So those people come to them, they're willing to pay the price. And some people don't come to the massage therapist because they can't afford it. Now, and then some people come more often because they can afford more often. Some people come less often because they can afford less often. But then here comes the third party, the government. It says, you know what, we'll subsidize it. We'll pay for half of all your massage therapist bills when you go see a massage therapist. Well, then guess what? Demand increases. Because the person who never went because they couldn't afford it, well, now all of a sudden go because they can afford it. Okay? And then the person who went a little, once a month, they'd go maybe twice a month now. Because now their out-of-pocket money is cut in half. So they'll go twice a month. And then the person who went 4 times a month, well, they might go 8 times a month, right? So then now the massage therapist has got more time. She's only got so much time on her hands. Now, what's her option? She can either, maybe get another therapist in there to do more massages and everything, but then now her cost increased and so on and so forth. And now she might just have to increase her cost. But don't worry, the government's going to take care of half of it. Okay? And then more and more people come and get massages. But eventually you're going to run. Now, see, with schools, you only got so many classrooms. You only got so many professors. You only got so much room. You only got so much housing. Right? So prices increase. And the thing about government subsidies is they don't eliminate costs. It's just like if the government says we'll pay for it 100%, it doesn't lower the cost. It simply diverts the cost somewhere else. Now, let's take the massage therapist example again. Let's say the government comes in and says, we'll pay 100% of all your visits. Well, heck, I'll go every day if the government did that, right? Why wouldn't I? I'd love to have a back massage, and I have one every day. That would be awesome. And if anybody deserves to get a back massage, it's me. Because it would probably alleviate so much of the pain that I go through. But that's a whole nother issue. But if the government were to say, we'll pay 100% of back massages, right? No matter what it is, right? Well, then the people who provide the back massages can now charge whatever they flip and please. Because, hey, the government will pick up the tab. Right? So then, when it comes time for somebody who doesn't necessarily fall under the guise of getting the government to pay for them to go to a massage therapist, and then they go to one, and then the cost is so astronomically high they can't afford it. I'll give you a little bit of knowledge here, folks. The very existence of health insurance has caused healthcare costs to go up. The very existence of government guaranteed student loans causes the cost of education to go up. It is the number one factor of the rise of cost in education and secondary education. Government guaranteed loans and grants and what have you. It's the number one reason. So let's get back to Miss Elizabeth Warren here.
They want to make sure that more students stay in debt even longer and pay even more back to the federal government.
The money they took from me to pay for somebody else's child's education.
Here's the bottom line. The Trump-DeVos budget would push opportunities out of the reach of millions of students across this country. It would ruin lives.
It would ruin lives. Whatever.
Yeah, it's all about numbers, but it's also all about our values. It's about what we...
Our values. Well, I value not stealing from other people to pay for what I want. That's what I value. Taxation is theft, folks. Plain and simple. Taxation is theft. Now, I understand we can't get rid of all taxation because my political philosophy goes like this. I'm a Christian first. So everything, everywhere I stand politically, my world view, my political philosophy is dictated by my Christian faith. And then I'm a constitutionalist second. And then I'm a libertarian third. But anything in the Constitution that doesn't jive with my Christianity, I don't know of anything in the Constitution that doesn't jive with my Christianity. Anything in my libertarian philosophy or what libertarians tend to believe, I don't adhere to that if it contradicts my Christian faith. Now, does that mean I want to push my Christian faith on others through law? No, it actually means the opposite. I do not want to legislate morality per se. At least Christian morality. Okay? But the Constitution steps in on different instances on that. Right? I adhere to not robbing others of their life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I adhere to not infringing upon other people's rights. But the Constitution, mind you, is a limit on the federal government. Not a limit on you, and not a limit on your business. And that's where we went wrong in the last 100 years. Okay? So, she thinks that if this budget cut goes through, that all these programs get eliminated, and that's a lie. The state governments, in many cases, fund these programs just fine themselves, and it'll fall to the states to decide whether or not they want to continue to fund these programs. And see, that's one of the biggest problems, too, is that what sense does it make that I get taxed $1 for education, right? And that dollar goes to D.C., and then that dollar gets funneled through all the bureaucracy and all the red tape and everything else to pay for the people that work in the Department of Federal Education, the people that, deal with all the paperwork and whatever else, everything that goes on with the Department of Federal Education. I get taxed $1 to fund that. Just for my school district and my state to have to turn around and beg for the 20 cents that's left over of that dollar. What kind of daggone sense does that make? That is stupid. But that's the system we have right now. That's the system we have right now. We get taxed $1, it goes to DC, it gets funneled and pays for all the bureaucracy up there, and then our state has to turn around and beg for the 20 cents that might be left over of that dollar. And justify why they need the 20 cents. Stupid. The Constitution does not grant the federal government to have any power in education. And the Department of Federal Education, in my opinion, and in the Constitution's opinion, should not exist. We didn't have it prior to 1977, and all of our parents were educated under a system that didn't have a federal Department of Education. And guess what? We had better outcomes then. So, yeah, let's do away with it.
Care about in this country. And what Trump and DeVos are saying is it's not about public education. It's
not about federal. See, she said she was going to give us the details. Miss Elizabeth Warren, it's not about federal public education. We want to educate our own damn kids. We don't want the federal government telling us how to do it. And that's the problem with the federal government dealing in education.
It's not about helping people get a college diploma. It's not about helping people who have student loans they got to pay off. Nope. It's
Yeah, if you took out a student loan in women's studies, yeah, I don't think I should pay for it. I don't think my tax dollars should pay for it. Sorry. You see, folks, the way it used to be, the way college education used to work and how it used to get funded, and first of all, there was a time prior to guaranteed government loans, okay? Prior to guaranteed government loans, the cost of college, a student could literally work a part-time job and pay for it and live at the same time. But that is not the case anymore. That is not the case anymore. So, the thing is, the way it worked before was that you and your parents, okay, you want to go to college, right? So your parents would go to the bank, right? And you'd apply for a student loan. And the bank, would look at things like your parents' credit rating, maybe your credit rating, maybe, I don't know. They'd look at your parents' credit rating, they'd look at their income, they'd look at their assets, their savings, and so on and so forth. And you'd get a credit score, right? And then the bank would also go, well, what are you looking to educate yourself in? And if you told the bank basket weaving, the bank would say, adios. Or the bank would say, okay, that's fine, but your interest rate's going to be 35%. When you start paying it back, your interest rate's going to be 35%. Well, why is that? Well, because a degree in basket weaving is not really going to pay off, and you're going to have very little chance of paying back the loan, so the interest rate's going to be high. And the reason why the interest rate's not high in order to stick it to you, it's high to incentivize you to maybe take another option. You see? Because that's a risky loan. Now, if you told the loan guy at the bank, I'm going to get a degree in chemical engineering, and then the loan guy would go, look, what's the expected salary? He'd look it up. What's the expected salary for a chemical engineer? Oh, it's $120,000 a year. Well, that'd be awesome, and you could pay this back pretty easily once you get a job. So, sure, here you go. Here's a loan, and the interest rate's going to be 5%. But that interest rate is also going to vary depending on your parents' credit rating, so on and so forth. You see? Now, what that did was incentivize people to steer away from the nonsense degrees, the degrees that are just stupid for you to get. You don't need a degree in basket weaving. That's a friggin' hobby. Okay? You don't need a degree in a lot of the things that colleges offer degrees in these days, or courses that colleges offer these days. There's a lot of stupid courses in colleges these days because the government guarantees they'll get paid for offering those courses to students who want to take them. But if you had to go to the bank in order to get the loan, well, then colleges will offer the things that basically they'll get paid for. You see? And it wasn't until government got involved with guaranteeing student loans that costs started to astronomically rise and the price started to astronomically skyrocket. Because when you guarantee you're going to pay something back, you see what the government guaranteed loan does is tells it they pay the college. The government, no matter what you go to college for, the government, if you fail, the college gets paid. So they have no incentive to offer viable courses. The incentive there is to offer as many courses as they can darn well fit in their school on as many stupid subjects as they can offer. Because the incentive there is the government's going to pay for it. The government's going to pay. The colleges get their money regardless. When you get a government guaranteed loan, it's now between you and the government to pay it back. And now the government, like Elizabeth Warren, now she wants to turn around and say, well, now all those people shouldn't have to pay back their loans? What? Well, guess what, folk? Those loans are getting paid back regardless. They're just going to get paid back by the rest of us in the form of higher taxes.
It's up to us. It is up to us to fight back. It is up to us to say no to these budget cuts. Be clear.
Be clear. You were not clear. You were not clear throughout this entire video, Elizabeth Warren. You were not clear at all. You left out all kinds of details. All kinds of details.
Have the power. If you make your
You left out all kinds of details because you think we're stupid.
voice heard in Washington, then the Republicans cannot get away with passing a budget like this. So,
Yes, Sergeant Crookshank, it is Open Line Friday. Freestyle Friday. And if you want to, I'd love to talk to you, Sergeant Crookshank. Love to talk to you. It's been a while. If everybody see us, Mr. Jonathan Sergeant Crookshank in the comments there. He was one of my former supervisors in the United States Air Force. One of the great ones as well. Learned a lot from him. But I cannot remember what section we worked in together. I want to say you were my supervisor at Fleet. Can't remember. But yeah, she voted to nationalize the student loan program in 2008. She did, and that was a big mistake. Big mistake, because she's an economic illiterate. Now, I'm gonna explain something to you also, folks. With all this budget cut bandwagon. Now, I'm not a fan of Trump. Trump's a moron. Trump's an economic illiterate. He doesn't understand economics. He understands business. There's no doubt about that. And if you believe some of the naysayer stories, he understands how to screw people over, I guess. I don't know about that. That seems a lot of a he said, she said type of thing. But I don't like Trump. I didn't vote for Trump. I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not a Trump defender. I defend the truth. I support the truth. Plain and simple. That's what I do. And so before you get on the anti-Trump budget bandwagon, that he's cutting the budget of this and that and the other, understand. And we're gonna do this. We're gonna draw a little like Bob Ross. We're gonna draw a little. So So what we have here, we got to make it white. I don't want to culturally appropriate. In case the blue people of the wicker folk are out there watching. So basically, this is budget cuts, right? what they're talking about right now. So let's say the budget, for instance, we spend about $800 billion on education in the country. Actually, a lot more. It's like 873, if I remember correct. Okay. Now, defense, we spend $840 billion. Okay. So, in total, we spend $873 billion. Now, that's not just the federal government. It's federal government, that's state governments, that's municipalities, counties, so on and so forth. All the money spent across the nation, tallied up, is $873 billion. So it's about $30 billion more than we spend on defense. And this number here on defense is including veteran spending, things like that. So, let's say next year, let's say you had $100 you spend each year on a program. Now, this is what's going on right now in most cases with all these budget cuts. Okay? Now, it was already proposed in last year's budget, right? See, every time a lot of the mandatory programs, there's already built in the year prior's budget an increase of a certain amount. Usually it's percentage. So this was in, let's say this was 2016 budget. You spent $100 on a particular program. And in the 2016 budget, it was proposed in 2017 to increase that spending to $120. Okay. Now that's a 20% increase, right? So plus 20%. You love my little drawings? I'm doing this with a mouse. It's a new thing on my broadcast thing I discovered. It's called whiteboard. So I can draw. I can be like John Madden. See, Pat, what we got here is a quarterback is going to go punch through there. You know, I can do like John Madden now. So basically, this was proposed in 2016's budget to increase to $120 or a 20% increase in the budget for that program. All that's happening in most cases with Trump's budget is that they've said, hey, let's just increase that to $110. So instead of a 20% increase, we're only gonna do a 10% increase. That's what's going on, folks. It's not a decrease in spending. It's just not increasing the spending as much as previously proposed. That's what's going on. And this doesn't surprise me because Democrats will even use this tactic as saying they're cutting spending. Right? They'll actually do this in the budgets and say, look, we cut spending. We cut spending by 10%. No, you didn't. It's like me saying, you know, I'm gonna not spend that $50 next year on shoes that I spent this year, and therefore I cut spending. You know, or I save $50. It's not the same thing. So that's what's going on in the budget, folks. I'm gonna go over this again. In 2016, the budget was $100 for a particular program. We'll call it Program X. He's been using brand X. What's that from, folks? Pop quiz. So that was the budget in 2016. And in the 2016 budget, it was worked in to have an increase of 20% in 2017 for the next year's budget. Now, those are never guaranteed. Those are always going to be voted on and changed and everything else. And basically, that was an increase of 20%. Well, the Trump budget said, nope, let's only increase that to 110. And let's go with that. And so we're still increasing the spending in that program, but we're just increasing it by 10% instead of 20%. That's all that's happening with the budget, folks. That's it. So stop jumping on the bandwagon of attacking the Trump budget unless it's an actual elimination of something. And see, Trump's budget doesn't even, if the way I read it, it doesn't even actually name those programs as being cut. If I remember correctly, in what I read in the Trump budget, the actual budget, not a summary, not this or that, and you can go and get it from the White House website, is that they're just cutting the increases in the increase. They're just saying, hey, we're going to instead of increasing the federal education budget by 20% for 2017, the 2017 budget, I should say, we're just going to increase it by 10%, right? And that 10% equals the 11 billion that I'm not, these numbers are not real numbers. Those are just example numbers. This is the real number, though. And that number amounts to $11 billion. That's basically what Elizabeth Warren has done. She's swindling you, folks. She's bamboozling you. She's lying. But hey, let's just focus on Trump's lies. It's Open Line Friday. Do I need to open up Skype? You want to use Skype? You want to use Facebook? You want to use Google Hangouts? It don't matter to me. Give me a call. Give me a call. Give me a call. I see. I need to start opening that before I start my broadcast, right? Pants Undone. It's ready to take calls on Skype. You can find, I guess, through the email, pants.undone@gmail.com. Or maybe you can just search for Pants Undone. I'm not sure. I haven't used Skype since I worked in Iraq. So there's like, better ways. Little trivia here. Microsoft now owns Skype. I don't know when they bought Skype, but I just know Microsoft owns it now. I know they didn't own it at one time. But, Microsoft owns Skype now. But yes, it's Open Line Friday. It's free for all. What else are we going to talk about? What's trending on the interwebs right now? Let's see. I got Facebook open here. Why doesn't it show me the trending anymore? Is it up here? It's down here. Oh, I know why. No, I need to be on this other page here. Oh, snap. There's something wrong with my Google Chrome. Let's see here. John Boehner. What the heck is he in there for? He's trending. Boehner. Trump's term disaster aside from foreign affairs. Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton slams Trump in graduation speech at Alamatar Wellesley. Ariana Grande announces Manchester benefit concert. Good for her, I guess. Egypt attack. Gunmen kill at least 28 Coptic Christians in bus ambush. Yeah, screw the Christians, right? Screw them. Mike Pence tells Naval Academy graduates they have a friend in Trump. Okay. Manchester City transfers. Manchester City transfer news. Latest rumors on Bernardo. On Bernardo Silva, Alexis Sanchez. Okay, I don't even know what that means. Rex Tillerson. U.S. takes full responsibility for Manchester intelligence leaks. What? Syria. U.S.-led airstrikes kill more than 100 civilians in Syria. Yeah, that's a Huffington Post. I don't engage in ad hominem, so I'm not going to say anything further than that. I try not to, at least. I really try not to engage in ad hominem when it comes to this type of stuff, because... And anybody who doesn't know what ad hominem is when you attack the messenger versus addressing the message. So if I make the claim that the world is round, right? Attacking me and saying, well, you're not a scientist, so you have no credibility to have any say on the issue, is not a good, is a flawed debate tactic. It's a logical fallacy, as they call it. And you need to address the claim versus me. I'm just the messenger. And I think if people were to adhere to that, I think you would actually do yourself a favor. Philippines strains to clear ISIS-inspired militants from southern city. That's trending. It's weird. There's a lot of top trending stuff that's internationally related that seems kind of off the wall. Not sure. I want to check out this Rex Tillerson thing. Now, who's Rex Tillerson? I should know who he is, right? The United States government takes full responsibility for leaks of the British police investigation into Monday's deadly bomb attack in Manchester, which killed 22 people, U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson said on Friday. Okay, he's the Secretary of State. Appearing alongside British Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson in London, Tillerson said that all across America hearts are broken at news of the attack on people attending a concert by U.S. pop singer Ariana Grande. British police briefly suspended intelligence sharing with the United States on Thursday after private details of their investigation reportedly appeared in American media. We take full responsibility for that, and we obviously regret that happened, Tillerson said. With respect to the release of information inappropriately, certainly we condemn that. Tillerson said he expected the close security relationship between the United States and Britain to withstand the leaks. Okay. Again, not giving us any kind of details. What was leaked, what was said, what was the problem. But hey, get in an uproar, folks. Things were leaked. You see? Oh, moronic stuff. I'm going to check out this Hillary Clinton thing. Clinton slams Trump in graduation speech at Alamarta. I gotta sneeze. I gotta sneeze. All right, so Hillary Clinton sharply criticized President Trump during her graduation speech at Wesley College on Friday, delivering a stinging rebuke to his policies and governing style without ever mentioning his name. She started with a playful tone, talking about her election loss. You may have heard that things didn't exactly go the way I planned, but you know what? I'm okay. I'm doing okay, she said. Of course she is. She got paid probably $500,000 to go give this speech. She said, I've gotten to spend time with my family, especially my amazing grandchildren, long walks in the woods, organizing my closets. I won't lie. Chardonnay helped a little too. She's an alcoholic. She implicitly compared Trump to President Nixon while talking about her own graduation from Wesley in 1969 to laughter from the audience. We were furious about the past presidential election of a man whose presidency, which would eventually end in disgrace for impeachment of obstruction of justice, she said. Huh. Interesting. Kind of like her husband. She said, after firing the person running the investigation into him at the Department of Justice, but she then took a more serious turn, condemning Trump's new budget and announcing, there's a full-fledged assault on truth and reason, she said. Just log onto social media for 10 seconds. It will hit you right in the face. Yeah, because that's the bastion of truth. People denying science, concocting elaborate, hurtful conspiracy theories about child abuse rings operating out of pizza parlors. That was not true. Drumming up rampant fear about undocumented immigrants, Muslims, minorities, the poor. Some are even denying things we see with our own eyes, like the size of crowds, and then defending themselves by talking about quote-unquote alternative facts. Blah, blah, blah. I'm a blowhard. I'm sour. I lost. Blah, blah, blah. Hillary Clinton's a piece of crap. I said it, folks. Well, guys, I'm done for today. This is Freestyle Friday. So, I love you guys. I got into some very, very deep subjects today. I appreciate everybody coming to watch. I appreciate everybody who's going to watch. Might up this to about 3 p.m. I don't know. But I love you guys. And I hope you take care of yourself and have a blessed weekend. Have a blessed Friday.
Nothing wrong with going off in a daydream. In a daydream, nothing broken in a hopeless sky. Never wonder, just go under and set free. Can you set free all the hope that you can hold inside? It's safe to say that